Today is Wednesday, October the 20th, and a funny thing happened. We did have that double top on the overbought. We said that we hadn't seen that since back here when we saw it chop several times. Now, what's different between now and last fall? This was last November. We had all this activity, and as we went into the end of the year, we had this little drop off. The McClellan's oscillator is there. The summation index has popped back up. Let's take a look at some of the charts. The first thing you see is that the S&P has now double topped. That should be something that it can't break from easily, and we still have this flat cloud over here, but it is far enough away, much further away rather than we saw on the Dow Jones, where it's closer. But look at the Dow Jones also exceeded its closing high and finished below its closing high. And the NASDAQ, remember we had good Tesla earnings today. The NASDAQ did what we thought it would do. We thought that it would bounce. We thought the Chiku span would bounce off the bottom of this candle, and that's exactly what it did. And it came back to rest on the top of the cloud. So is the NASDAQ an indicator? Because now the NASDAQ is going to have to break out significantly tomorrow for this Chiku span to go above the candle. I don't think it can do that. So the three indexes are telling us top, a double top. NASDAQ is saying Chiku span pullback, and the S&P is saying double top. Let's look at some of the other stocks. Apple, Chiku span wasn't able to get above this candle, but it didn't go below this candle either. It's sort of in between. Apple's earnings are coming up next week. Missed the volatility index, continues to drop. No fear out there. What are we going to look at? Caterpillar. Caterpillar's moving up quite nicely. We really thought that it would come up to the 200 and it would pull back. It didn't pull back. It ended up higher than the 200. That's really a good sign of a strong stock. Today the Chiku span had its high here, which was where? Buried in that candle. So not having a breakout from that candle, again, possible sign of a bit of a pullback. This is going to be the weakest area of resistance in the cloud, and that should happen by, let's see, Thursday, Friday, Monday of next week. What else do we want to look at? IBM, a little bit of a pullback, Chiku span there. NEO, resistance on the cloud. Chiku span, where did it have its low of the day? Right here. So it was just a bit above that candle, a bit above the 200. So both of them at one point acted as support, and we finished a little bit higher. The other stock we want to look at is Square. Square today had a bit of a pullback. I mean, it was higher, but it ended higher on the day by 94 cents. But the cloud should have been breachable because it's very thin, but it acted as resistance, pulled back. Now we've got a very thin part of the cloud coming here. So on a good day for the market, we should see Square breaking through the cloud. And let's say, we predicted that it would go higher. Now let's definitely say that we do see Square going higher, but it may take another day to do that. Do we want to look at any other stocks? CVS, very, very choppy stock. Really should have benefited more from the amount of traffic that they've had with the COVID vaccinations, and now with the free influenza vaccines, but really, really choppy. Not something that I'd be confident in, but it's ridden. If you like CVS, now's the time to buy it because it's had 50 support here and cloud support for 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the last 5 days where the cloud has come into play. FedEx, what a disappointing stock. Big gap that it has to overcome here. So that's not how we normally mark gaps. but let's do it this time. That's the gap that has to be breached. That's just too much work for FedEx to think about. Now, JP Morgan, big day for JP Morgan. How about our largest regional bank? Pretty darn good day for US Bank. Heading up to, this green line was its double top. This would be, well, it's had higher highs, but it started a day at this level, which is pretty much where it ended today. So a lot of stocks looking like they're double topping. Netflix, which had its earnings yesterday, great earnings, but the market didn't like it. What about Tesla? Tesla, great earnings today. Probably have Tesla here somewhere. Great earnings today. And what did it do after hours? Let's change this and let's show extended data. And nothing. Let's look at a 5-minute and see if there's anything. Well, look at what Tesla did after the market. There's 4 p.m. After the market, it just drifted lower in spite of having tremendous earnings. So what does that tell you? Netflix, great earnings. Tesla, great earnings. Now we've got Amazon, we've got Microsoft, we've got IBM still coming up this week, and we've got Apple next week. But this is what I'm looking at here. I'm looking at these three indices, which are all pointing to pullback, and we've got our McClellan oscillator, which is pointing to a little bit of a relief pullback tomorrow.